Hello, welcome to Play and Take Math Game Kits for Families. We'll be going step by step through the directions on how to play the games. The Play and Take Math Kits are leveled. The beginning level is most appropriate for pre-K through first grade. The intermediate level is for first through third, and the advanced level is for third through fifth. You can jump ahead to any of these leveled games by using the times shown here. The beginning level game kit comes with everything you need to play two games, Jump Home and Line 'em Up. The first game we'll learn to play is Jump Home. This game helps students practice counting and numeral number correspondence. This is a game for two players, and the materials needed are the Jump Home game board, one number cube, and a frog counter. Begin with the frog on start. Player 1 rolls the number cube and moves the frog the number of spaces shown on the number cube towards the Player 1 home. Player 2 rolls the number cube and moves the frog the number of spaces shown on the cube towards the Player 2 home. Play continues back and forth until one player gets the frog all the way home. That person is the winner. The next game we'll look at is called Line 'em Up. This game covers addition facts to 12 and numeral number correspondence. It's for two players, and the materials needed are the Line 'em Up game board, two number cubes or dice, and about 20 bingo chips. On each turn, the player rolls both number cubes and finds the sum by adding the values shown on each cube together. The player places a counter on the sum on their number strip. Then the next player takes a turn. If a player rolls a sum that is already covered, the player loses a turn. Play continues until one player has four numbers in a row covered on the number line. That person is the winner. You can change up the game by covering up the difference found when the smaller number is subtracted from the larger number, or by covering either the sum or the difference. The intermediate level game kit has all the materials needed to play two games, even versus odds and number cover. The first game, Evens versus Odds, is an addition or subtraction facts game and has students use their knowledge of odd and even numbers. This is a two-player game, and the materials needed are the Even versus Odds game board, two colored pawns, one 9-sided dice, and two colors of bingo chips. Both players begin with their pawns on start. Player 1 is odd, player 2 is even. The first player rolls one 0 to 9 die and moves their pawn that many spaces. Player 1 finds the sum by adding the number rolled on the die to the number in the space where the pawn lands. In this case, the sum of 4 and 5 is 9. Player 1 is odd. If the sum is odd, player 1 will place a bingo chip in their odd chart. However, if the sum is even, player 1 does not earn a chip. Player 2 is even and will only earn a point if the sum made is even. If a player lands on free space, they get a point automatically. Play continues until one player fills in their side of the odd versus even chart. That player is the winner. The next game we'll look at is called Number Cover. In this game, we'll be discussing how to use number sense, addition, subtraction, and strategy. This is again a two-player game, and the materials needed are the Number Cover game board, two 9-sided dice, and two colors of bingo chips. Player 1 rolls two 0 through 9 dice. Player 1 has four choices for where to place a bingo marker on the board. The two dice can be used as digits, added, or subtracted. Option 1, use the digits to make a two-digit number. 2, 5 equals 25. Option 2, reverse the digits to make a different two-digit number. 5, 2 is 52. Option 3, add the digits together to make the sum. 5 plus 2 equals 7. And option 4, subtract the smaller digit from the larger digit to make the difference. 5 minus 2 equals 3. Player 1 can select whether to put the marker on number 25, 52, 7, or 3. Player 1 picks one of the options and covers a number on the grid with one of their bingo chips. The goal is to get 4 of your colored chips in a row, going vertically, horizontally, or diagonally. It is now player 2's turn. Play continues in this manner, back and forth, until one player wins by getting 4 of their colored chips in a row. Now we'll look at the Play and Take Advanced Level Game Kit, which includes everything you need to play 2 games, the Creative Equations game and the Fraction Fill game. The first game is Creative Equations. This game has students use addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division to create equations. This is a 2-player game, and the materials needed are the Creative Equations game board, 4 number cubes or dice, 2 different colors of bingo chips, and a 1-minute sand timer. This is also a game of strategy. In this game, players take turns rolling 4 dice. The player now has 1 minute to decide how to use all 4 number cubes to make a number on the game board by adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing the digits in any order. There are many possible solutions from which the player can choose. Let's look at just a few. Using the number cubes 5, 1, 3, and 5, here are some examples of some possible equations that a player might create. Before the timer runs out, the player must select one of the equation answers and, using the bingo chip in their color, cover up that space on the game board. It is now the next player's turn. The player rolls a 3, 6, a 3, and a 6. Turning the timer over, the player has 1 minute to create an equation, select the equation answer, and find it on the game board. Play continues in this manner until one player gets 4 bingo chips in a row, either vertically, horizontally, or diagonally. That player is the winner. The next game we'll play is called Fraction Fill. This is a game of equivalent fractions. It's for 2 players, and the materials needed are the Fraction Fill game board, 2 number cubes, and 2 different colors of bingo chips. The top section of the game board shows each player what they'll be looking for. This game is played similar to bingo, where each player will be looking for specific things while making fractions with their dice. Player 1 will be trying to find all of the blue fractions. Player 2 will be finding all of the orange fractions. The bottom part of the game board is there to help you out. It has both a pictorial fraction model and a number line that will be very useful when making equivalent fractions and playing this game. Let's look at it just a little bit more closely. On their turn, a player will roll 2 dice. The smaller number rolled will become the numerator, or the top number in the fraction. The larger number rolled will become the denominator, or bottom number in the fraction. We read this fraction from top to bottom as 1/3, or 1/3. The bottom charts on the game board are there to help you understand what 1/3 is and how it compares to other fractions. In the cake, we can see that each layer of cake represents a denominator of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. The one we are looking at is a denominator of 3, so we will look at the thirds row. In the thirds row, we have 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. The fraction 1/3 is one piece of the thirds layer of the cake. It can also be seen on the number line as shown in yellow. We can use both the number line or the cake fractions to compare fractions to find greater than and less than numbers. On the number line, any number to the left of the fraction that you've rolled is less. Any number to the right of the fraction you've rolled is greater. We can also use the number line to compare 1/2, 1/4, and 3/4. Our fraction of 1/3 is greater than 1/4, but less than 1/2 or 3/4. You will find this number line very helpful as you play this game. Player 1 begins the game by rolling 2 dice. The smaller digit rolled becomes the numerator or top number of the fraction, and the larger digit becomes the denominator or bottom number of the fraction. Player 1 will look at their game board to see which squares are true for the fraction rolled, 3/5. The fraction rolled may fit the description of multiple squares. Here is 3/5 on the number line. Now we'll go through each square on the card to see if it is true for 3/5. 3/5 is not equal to 1. 3/5 is not less than 1/2, as you can see using the number line. 3/5 is greater than 1/2. 3/5 is not equivalent to 1/2. 3/5 is less than 3/4. 3/5 is greater than 1/3. 3/5 is not less than 3/5. 3/5 is greater than 1/4. 3/5 is not equal to 2/3. 3/5 does have a numerator of 3. 3/5 is greater than 2/5. And 3/5 does not have a denominator of 4. The green squares represent the options the player has to put a marker on their board. Play continues in this manner until one of the players fills up their game grid. In this case, player 2 rolls a 2 and a 4, which becomes 2/4. Using the cake to help us figure out equivalent fractions, we see that 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2 on the cake. So the player can use their marker covering up the last space in their game board and is the winner. Thank you so much for joining us for Play and Take Math Game Kits for Families. We hope you enjoy playing these games at home with your children.